mission in life is to emancipate all humanity, to say, hey, you were created in a very unique way. Your DNA is different than mine. And what would the world look like if all of us were living into the fullness of the beauty of our DNA? Money's going to come. But what if we actually live into the special, unique talents without shame, doubt, insecurity?
Your network is your net worth. Come listen to some of the most successful people I know share invaluable knowledge, stories, and advice in real estate, business, and beyond. This is Weiss Advice. Whether you want to take your business or personal life to the next level, look no further.
Welcome back to a very special episode of Weiss Advice Podcast. Can you believe it? We are up to episode number 400. I am so grateful to be joined today by some of the previous guests that we've had on the show over the years. We've had some incredible people, and I'm just grateful to everyone, really, to all of you who have joined me today and everyone else who has joined me in the past 4+ years of doing this incredible journey that, I've called a podcast. But really what it's been for me has been an opportunity to get to know all of my guests better. And yes, we're adding value to everyone out there listening. But first and foremost, it's really been a lot of fun just having that journey together with all of you. So thank you all to everyone who's been joining us until this point, and especially to our amazing guests who have decided to take the time out of their busy day to join us and share with you all some advice. We call this Weiss Advice. Now, we're going to hear some wisdom from some of our previous guests without any particular order, because we got some amazing people on the show here today with us. I would love to call on each one of our guests, previous guests. Everyone is going to introduce themselves and share some wisdom, some nugget of gold that they have learned or picked up over the years. And again, these are some of the most successful people that I know. So I hope whoever's listening is taking notes. So without further ado, let's kick off this show with the one and only Mark Jensen. That's right, Mark Jensen. And in fact, looking around the room today, I think Mark was one of the first guests that we had on the Weiss Advice podcast way back at the very beginning. So great to bring it full circle.
Awesome. Thank you, Yonah. And we're excited to be here to celebrate you. I'm bummed I'm going first because I'm sure we're going to hear some amazing nuggets and I'll have some things that come to mind. But I think you and I first connected probably in 2010 or 2011. I mean, it's been a long time. I do want to say my favorite story about Yonah Weiss, and we finally met in person. It's probably been 10 years. And I was like, so how long have you been in Israel? Were you born there? And tell me about it. And he's like, bro, I went to San Diego State. I was like, what? Well, Yonah has been a great friend and a great advocate and a great resource for my business. It's so fun to celebrate you, Yonah, and this huge milestone. So thank you for the opportunity. Briefly, I am based in Salt Lake City, Utah. I am a multifamily investment broker. My team handles transactions both from land acquisition all the way through institutional disposition in Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. Love the business, love commercial real estate, love connecting with people. And just grateful for the opportunity to be here. If I had one piece of thoughtful advice right now, my world has completely shifted. The last 24 months have been very challenging transactionally. It reminds me a lot of 2010, 2011. And so for anyone out there that's thinking about, getting into commercial real estate or, you're just looking to create something new right now, it really is the great reset. So everybody's been brought back to the same playing field in my world. It's all about the next deal. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to get in. We're buying at just such a greater, much better basis. And this is where kings were made. And I can go through dozens of my clients that started buying in 2010 through 2012, and they're, they don't have to work another day in their lives. So grateful for this time and place. If you're in this for the long haul, it's a great time to be in the commercial real estate space. You got to surround yourself with great people. So thank you, Yonah.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. What a pleasure to have you back on the show. And we're excited to bring up our next guest, and again, drop a little bit who you are, what you do, and one short piece of wisdom for our guest. We're going to go straight to Amy Sylvis.
Yonah, thank you so much for having me. Congrats again to you. What an amazing accomplishment. I learned so much from you, so I love to be able to give back here. So my name is Amy Sylvis. I'm out in Los Angeles, California. I connect investors to hands-off real estate investing opportunities to grow their wealth. And a piece of advice, I guess it's very appropriate. I love the book called The Go-Giver Yonah, I think you exhibit that. And I really love the law of, the more that you give to others, the more that you receive. So if you're interested in getting something in your life, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, whatever it is, start off by giving without any expectation of anything in return. And you'll be amazed at what happens. So thanks for exhibiting that for all of us, Yonah. Really appreciate you.
Awesome. Appreciate you and everything you do. And I love that, the go-giver. We're going to move right along to Matt Picheny. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, Yonah. Pleasure to be here. I just looked it up because I was curious, like when I was on your podcast, and it was episode 43. So quite a few years ago, back when I was in Boston. But it's a pleasure to be here. Congratulations to you. 400 episodes of just dropping nuggets of wisdom like crazy. I've been a big fan of the podcast and have learned a lot from it. The one thing that I would recommend to people or just say to people is that I really think this business and really life in general is really about creating and cultivating those relationships, just kind of piggybacking off of what Amy was saying about being a go-giver or developing relationships in any way that you can, I think can help grow your business exponentially. I mean, being a guest on Yonah's podcast, and we've gotten to know each other over the years and just had him come and speak at our meetup recently, which was a lot of fun to have him there. But just cultivating those relationships. I know a lot of the people that are in the room today. It's good to see all of them. I think that is really how one grows business, by forging those networks, by being a go-giver, as Amy was saying. And that is really, I think, the path to true success.
I love it. Love it. That's entirely true. So appreciate you, Matt, and love to bring back the guests. We've had so many people over the years that have been so impactful to me and my business and my life, and grateful to all of you for joining. And let's bring someone back who I think was within the first 10 episodes. You can go back and check what episode number, what I'm talking about, Mr. Ira Zlotowitz out there. Please tell everyone who you are. And you were doing something a little bit different when we first had you on the show 4 years ago. But please share with everyone who you are, what you do, and some advice you'd like to share with them.
Thank you very much. I'm honored that I was able to pick a winner in you, Yonah. So, we started early and you went all the way to the 400, And God willing, I'm looking at for the 4,000, add another zero to this when we come back. So, I guess with AI, really, you could really upload all the podcasts and summarize everyone's personalities. But, it's interesting. I'll put actually in the chat box is that, so we opened up when we started out, it's the same business. We're commercial brokerage. The goal is to revolutionize the industry. We built a platform and we just pivoted to focus on the human side first aggressively. So we're a cap mortgage broker. We think that, especially now in light of everything going on with Fannie and Freddie, is that people feel that, there's always the question, what's the value of the broker? So instead of debating it, everyone has a different answer. People have three answers. A broker gets it closed, no problem. I'll cap the fee at half a point at $100,000. The broker is a professional. I pay my attorney fixed fee for a loan. Of a transaction, I pay the same thing. So $11,000, we'll give you the best rate. We're actually releasing to the public today. We use AI. I think this is fascinating. All of you can incorporate into your own business because you all have knowledge. You all on podcasts. I hired 100 brokers. We onboard to training 20 new brokers a week. We created internally up until now an AI bot that all my data, intellectual property is there. Every question in the company, they ask a question on Slack, the bot answers before the manager. And if something's wrong, the manager just goes in and says, hey, weird bot, where did you get that answer from? It says, Ira did a video where he said ABC, goes into the video, changes the B to a D, and that gives correct answer. So we're releasing today, Andre, I got the name from ChatGPT, the first AI mortgage broker. Released today is the beta. I'm going to put the link there. Look at it really in a couple of hours. Get it. What's the rates? It'll tell you the rates. It'll tell you every property type. It'll tell you which bank you could go to, everything. By the end of the day, it'll be fully up and running. So the world around us is changing. And imagine if collectively all 400 of your guests shared their data with one bot. How much knowledge is flowing through all of us combined and given out there.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much, Ira. I mean, that itself is some incredible wisdom dropping right there. And good luck with that. Great. What amazing having something dropping today, getting it fresh for everyone out there. We're going to bring up our next guest. Please tell us who you are, what you do, and share with us some quick wisdom. And who might we call on next? I'm going to call on Mr. Dan Lukowitz.
Yeah, Yonah, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. I just looked back. I don't know what episode it was, but it was August 24th of 2020. So it must have been in the first batch, right? Almost 4 years ago. So Yonah, I'm probably one of the few people that knows Yonah in person before knowing him on LinkedIn. We met initially back in, it must have been 2005, 2006 in Israel. And Yonah pestered me for years afterwards to get onto LinkedIn. And then, I don't know, about 7-8 years ago, I finally listened to him, and it's been an absolute career-changing experience. So thank you for that, amongst, all the other great things that you do. And congratulations on 400 episodes. That's a huge milestone. So in terms of who I am, my name is Dan Lukowitz. I'm a senior director here at Encore Real Estate Investment Services. I assist and advise clients, buyers, and sellers in their transactions of net lease property all across the country, typically single tenant net lease properties like Walgreens, CVS, dollar stores, medical office buildings, auto parts stores, Taco Bell, Wendy's, et cetera, as well as shopping centers. And we do this nationwide. So really my focus is exclusively in net lease. I, on a side note, also have been, real estate investor for several decades. So I'm passionate about that, as well as cars, for anyone who knows me. And in terms of advice that's been instrumental in my career, it definitely would be to focus on providing value and letting everything else follow from that. I make it a point of focusing not on the outcome of the transaction, not on my personal benefit of the transaction or the interaction, but rather what value can I add today, right now? And I've just noticed that circles back at some point, maybe not initially, but inevitably, and it really benefits everyone. So that's what I would share. And again, happy to be here. Congratulations, and great to be amongst such great people.
Thanks so much, Dan. Great to have you back on the show. Kelly, Yonah, welcome to the show. Drop some wisdom for us.
Thanks, Yonah. Hi, everyone. Kelly Ianon from Florida here. It's an absolute pleasure to be here again, Yonah, along with this amazing cohort. Congrats on the 400 episodes. I'm an operator and fund manager who connects high-achieving professionals with investments in the apartment space specifically. When asked one piece of advice that has really helped me out in my life, it's really to start small and start now. Whether it's as a general partner, a small slice of general partner, or as a limited partner, getting into your first deal, or if it's just going out and buying a single family home, really just getting started is instrumental. The knowledge and experience that you'll gain from that will be rocket fuel to kind of the next endeavors that you move into. So that's really the one piece of advice that I would give anybody, is just get started, no matter how small, just get started.
Love it. Perfect answer. Thanks so much, Kelly. Adam Gower, welcome to the show. Putting you on the spot to share some wisdom for our guests. For our listeners.
Right. Well, so that's a bit of a long shot coming from me. I'm not sure what kind of wisdom I have, but I'm more than happy to make some comments. First of all, my name is Adam Gower, but my company, Gower Crowd, builds digital marketing systems for sponsors so they can build their investor lists and raise more capital. Our clients manage over 35 billion of AUM and have raised high hundreds of millions of dollars from accredited investors using our systems. There are two big opportunities as I see today. One is the market dislocation and the opportunities that will emerge in the coming months for significantly discounted acquisitions. I've been trying to follow everybody that's been talking so far. Somebody mentioned that there'll be a wealth transfer, period of wealth transfer. That's absolutely true. But you got to be ready for it. It's no good to find good deal flow and not be able to raise the capital, not have the equity capital that you need. So actually, a lot of our clients, we have a 6-month program, are asking us to compress that into 90 days. Oh my goodness. It is a huge lift in 90 days, but we get them up and running and raising capital, significant amounts of capital within that period of time. The second opportunity, and actually I'm going to comment on something Ira said, is to integrate AI into what you're doing. It can sound a little, I don't know, my wife rolls her eyes when I mention it, actually. So I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who are eye rolling when I talk about it, but we are diving deep. And the opportunity for increased productivity, increased output, increased conversions is mind-blowing. It is epoch-changing. And we are integrating AI into absolutely every one of our systems. Our new investor acquisition system will be dense with it. So those are the two opportunities. One, be ready for the market dislocation that is inevitable. And two, integrate AI into part of that process. That's my story.
Awesome. Love it. And thank you again for joining. So much wisdom. imparted
Thanks,
from
Yonah.
you over the year. And Mark Jensen held up a copy of your book. And
Oh my God, I didn't even see that. Oh,
That's
thank
awesome.
you. Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
leaders of the crowd,
was
check it out.
That's really nice of you, Mark. Thank you. One of my.
We're going to welcome our next prior guest. We got Monique Halm on the show, representing the real estate investor and goddesses. So welcome. Share with us some wisdom, if you will.
Oh, thank you for having me and congratulations. That is such an incredible accomplishment. I think I just read recently that 90% of podcasters don't do more than 3 episodes. And then to get to 400, that's just incredible. So I'm Monique Halm. I am the founder of Real Estate Investor Goddesses. We teach women how to invest in real estate. And my big, hairy, audacious goal is to help 1 million women create financial freedom through real estate investing. And also have Vineyard Investment Partners where we syndicate commercial real estate, mostly multifamily and industrial. So advice. I just heard this advice, and I think it is not specifically about real estate, but it is about setting goals. And the purpose of the goal is not necessarily to have the goal, but it's who you get to become. It's how you get to grow and stretch and who you get to become in achieving that goal. And I'm thinking about what you've accomplished here. I can only imagine just how you have stretched and grown from the act, the discipline, the persistence, and then also from learning from each of these incredible people, just like who you've gotten to become. And thank you so much for what you've done and to help your listeners grow too, just in that process with you. It's been an honor to be part of this.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Monique. This has been awesome. And you're absolutely right. I have grown so much and so grateful. I said it before, I'll say it again, to each and every one of the guests who have joined me on the show. It's really because of you that this podcast keeps on going. And as long as I have people to talk to, I will keep doing this podcast. And the funny thing is, several people have reached out to me over the years. Hey, lots changed in our business and would love to come back on the show. And I'm like, until I interview everyone that I know at least once, I'm not going to bring back repeat guests. So it may be a while till I bring you back on the show, but you can come back for these reunion episodes that we'll do from time to time, hopefully, and we'll do it again. If you do enjoy it, please let me know and we'll keep it on going. So speaking of keeping on going, let's bring down Mr. Casey Miracle on the show. Welcome and share with us some amazing wisdom.
Well, Yonah, I just want to say, first of all, I was honored to be on your show in the first place, but probably don't deserve it. But man, 400 is a testament to your fortitude and consistency. And it's a hard thing to do, man. Like, I don't think people understand how much it takes to put up 400 episodes. So awesome. Congratulations. Proud of you, man. So you bring people that drop knowledge, and a smarter tribe is a more successful tribe. So thanks. I appreciate it. My name's Casey Miracle. I'm kind of just a real estate degenerate. I just make deals. So buy, sell, hold, finance, help other people structure. As far as advice goes, I like to zag when other people are zigging. You'll find that there's less competition and more profit in that. So that's all I got, man. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, Casey. And by the way, just making some connections here. I know we got Brian Dawson on the show. I don't know if you guys know each other, but I think you guys are pretty local to one another. So we're going to bring up Brian next and share some wisdom with us if he's still here.
Thank you so much, Yonah. I appreciate being on here. Episode 400, that is incredible. I mean, it's just crazy. It just goes to show, to mimic back what Casey was saying, your level of fortitude and consistency to consistently providing great information to people out there. So thank you for letting me come on and be a part of this. Everybody, I'm Brian Dawson, CEO of Ingram Capital. I'm a recovering fix and flipper. So did just about 1,900 of those. So now I'm doing multifamily syndication predominantly, where we buy mid-range multifamily complexes. But I guess the only wisdom that I would have is just get in, get started, and then stay consistent. This is not a get rich quick game. It's a, get rich for sure if you're in it for a long haul. So
awesome. 100%. Thank you so much, Brian. And by the way, if you guys don't know each other, Brian and Casey, you guys are like neighbors. So you should definitely check one another out. And everyone else out here who's on the show, for our guests, you guys should connect with one another if you're not. I know Casey's very big on Twitter, or X for those of you who don't know him. And we're going to bring up another great big Twitter personality, which is Lauren, otherwise known as Adulting is Easy podcast host. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Yonah, thanks for having me, and congrats on 400 episodes.
Love it. Thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. I joined your show. I think it was April, around there, and I think you joined my show of March last year. So thank you for that as well. I run the Adulting is Easy podcast and the House Money podcasts. One is personal finance and one is real estate investing related. And I think if I add both of those together, I'm in like the low 200s. So not anywhere near 400 there. I am a real estate investor and a personal finance content creator and aficionado based in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. And given what my background is, I'm going to hit you with some advice that my dad always gave me, always taught us as kids, and I'm sure has shaped who I am now. And it's a little trite in the world of social media, but I think it still holds value. And that's that people that look rich aren't. My dad certainly taught us very early on that we could afford a bigger house, we could afford nicer cars, we could have the homes that our friends had and their parents had, and we chose not to, and that we didn't actually know how much debt they had on their homes or how much, really money they actually had if they just looked rich or actually were rich. I think we know in social media that everything is a highlight reel, but my dad taught me very early on that a lot of people's belongings are their highlight reel in some ways too, and you don't actually know what's going on under there. And I keep that in mind to keep myself happy and keep myself from comparing us to others. Thanks again.
Wow, such powerful wisdom. I appreciate that. And a great segue into our next guest, who's also in personal finance and happened to have been episode number 399. So we got a very fresh guest here. That's Tesha. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Yonah, thanks so much for having me. I am so honored to be here with all these amazing people. My best friend, Julie Holly of the Conscious Investor, she said, you had to go out and do a LinkedIn challenge. I'm like, LinkedIn, I can't stand LinkedIn. Not going to do it. She's like, you have to do it. When she tells me to do things, I do things. So I went and I was in your LinkedIn challenge and was just blown away by the caliber of people, the way you helped all of us so much. And like Amy Sylvis had said, it's just giving back for nothing in return. So thank you. Congratulations. Super honored. So I have a company. It's called Tesha Do You. And I am here to serve all of you through the personal finance area. People who need to treat their personal finance as their most important business. And so they need to go out and do that. So then when they have their personal finances all together, they can come out and they can buy everything that all you guys have to offer. So I'm just here to serve you. So if you run into anybody who says, I don't know what's going on with my money, you can't invest now, now's the time, and I don't know how to do it, have them come see me. I'll get them set up on something very simple. But my one piece of advice would have to be, everybody needs to spend 1 hour a week with their money. So that's very important. We'll go to the gym, we'll go to our therapist, we'll get our nails done, but do we sit down every single week, 1 hour with our most important resource, our personal finances?
Love it.
So, again, thank you, Yonah, so much for having me.
You. Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate you joining. And as you mentioned, your best friend and neighbor who introduced us together is Julie Holly, who's on the show with us, and like to call on her because I'm such a big fan of Julie. I steal her background. So Julie, just unmute yourself and share with us some great wisdom.
You would think that I would have at least recorded a podcast episode or two. So welcome to the multiple hundreds of episodes. It's such a great place to be. And do you know that I know the dedication that is required of reaching those high numbers of episodes. So like, congratulations. And one of the things that we all know about Yonah is that you just make everyone feel so seen and so heard and so valued, like deeply valued, which is amazing that you transcend the virtual space and allow people to have those feelings. Like it's absolutely amazing. And that's why we have the same background at the moment, because the first time I was the only time until you have everybody in the world on the podcast. I can't come back again. And I know. But it just made me smile from ear to ear when here we are recording a podcast episode and you bring up my like LinkedIn banner or whatever banner it was. And it was just really, really fun and endearing. So I'm Julie Holly. I am the Conscious Investor. I host the Conscious Investor Growth Summit each spring. And I have the podcast, the Conscious Investor Podcast, with over 500 episodes now. I do have repeat guests, and Monique Holm was episode 501 that just released last week. And I will tell you, that's one of my favorite episodes because it was such a heart-to-heart conversation. And by the way, this is also an extension of Yonah's amazing kindness that he extends. Monique has the same kindness because I'm going to throw myself under the bus and say, I was so excited to just like hang out with Monique again, catch up and record solid content for y'all that I did not hit record. I'm like, have I ever done that in 500 episodes? No. And I didn't hit record. I go to end the podcast recording session and I'm like, I looked back and it is just like, oh my gosh, Monique, I can't believe it. She's so gracious, so kind. And that's also just who you are, Monique. So the episode is so good. AI saved the day. So if you don't have AI running in your background, get it. Because Monique's like, well, something was recorded. I'm like, well, that's just my AI. So podcast hack. The Conscious Investor, just to wrap this up briefly, is the Conscious Investor is really about solving a gap that many of us see out there. And that is that we can, and it's been hit on from some of you talking, chase, go after the money, get the money. And we change one rat race for another rat race. And we're trading hamster wheels. And so instead of trading hamster wheels, when we focus on personal freedom and as our priority over our financial freedom, now we're emancipated in every part of our life and we break the hamster wheel. There is no wheel. It doesn't exist. And so we actually get to live into the fullness of who we are created to be. And that right there is my purpose mission in life, is to emancipate all humanity, to say, hey, you were created in a very unique way. Your DNA is different than mine. And what would the world look like if all of us were living into the fullness of the beauty of our DNA? Money's going to come. But what if we actually live into the special, unique talents without shame, doubt, insecurity, all of that? Let's just go for that.
Unbelievable. Love it. Thank you so much. That's awesome, Julie. Love the wisdom being imparted here from all our guests. We're going to call up our next guest, which is going to be Mr. Lonnie Wolf.
Firstly, I got to congratulate you on 400 shows. And the prior guest, I believe it was Monique, said, if you get past 3, you've done it. It's 6. It's between 3 and 6. So let me tell you, Yonah Weiss is the godfather of LinkedIn, and Yonah Weiss is the godfather for all. I have never met someone so dedicated and passionate. And that's how he got to 400, was being dedicated and passionate for the people. Remember, for the people. So congratulations on number 400. I've been part of your shows for quite some time, Yonah, and I've loved every minute and the journey and the great people I've met. My name is Lonnie Wolf. I'm self-branded. I'm the guy you don't want to see at your property. What property? Hotels. I take control of your operation and guarantee you're going to get the win, because either I win or I learn. But I'm the only guy in the space that says, if I execute nothing, you learn nothing, pay me nothing. I'm also a big advocate for housekeepers in hotels, and I'm the #1 advocate today globally for the fight. And I will continue to do what I do because I love what I do. I breathe what I do. And there's nothing more powerful than engaging with a guest at a hotel and creating a moment and earning a memory. What is my tip for you all today? Be you. Titles mean nothing. You are your own superpower and you can do it. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I sign out now. And again, super props, Yonah. You are the godfather of your space, man.
Appreciate it, Lonnie. You're awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And let's call our next guest. We got Tom Castelli in the show. Welcome, and share with us some quick wisdom.
Well, thank you for having me, Yonah. Congratulations on the 400 episodes. I know how hard it is to keep up the grind, so congratulations. It's awesome. My name is Thomas Castelli. I'm a tax strategist and real estate investor, and I help real estate investors build wealth and reduce taxes using the tax code. So my tips of advice, I just want to echo everybody on the AI. AI is here to stay. It's only moving faster and faster. So I would definitely recommend integrating that into your business in some way, shape, or form, and also being yourself. But one of the things that I've realized after working with a lot of different real estate investors is that everybody, as far as taxes are concerned, are always worried about the real estate professional status, the short-term rental loophole, and how can I use real estate to offset my W-2 or active business income? And it's not all about that. Just if you're in the game of real estate, rental real estate in general, you're already putting yourself in a very tax favorable position because you can shelter your income thanks to the non-cash expense called depreciation, which only gets more powerful when you do use cost segregation. And there's so many other benefits, like the ability to cash out refi, to take money out tax-free. The list goes on and on. So if you're in the rental real estate game, you're already putting yourself in a very tax favorable position. But that's my words of advice. Congratulations again on 400 episodes.
Thank you, Tom. It's awesome having you on the show. And thanks for everything that you do, sharing so much wisdom out there about taxes. And speaking of which, that's a great segue to Mr. Michael Plax, who's another amazing tax strategist based out of Texas. Nothing to do with taxes in Texas, but welcome to the show.
Okay, thanks, Yonah. Okay. An honor to be your friend and your guest. And I'll just build on what Tom just saying, because Tom and I are in that business. One of the two inevitabilities in life, taxes and death. I don't know if you have any morticians on your show. So we just focus on the tax side. And what I think is a lot of investors do is focus on that too much. So my piece of wisdom there would be don't. A lot of people were talking about giving back. Yeah, when you make a lot of money, you have to give back something to this guy who is standing behind me. But it's not always a bad thing. And I just see that people spend so much energy and effort trying to get out of that. And that's job for people like, Yonah, Tom, myself. We will help you minimize that. But the focus should be on finding the best investments, those that are most rewarding in whatever sense that is, most rewarding either financially or, personally, whatever. There are different ways to look at that. But focus less on taxes and more on your core thing, which is real estate. That's
Awesome.
my two topics, because I was born in Russia. So I'm not giving you 2 cents, giving you 2 topics.
Love it. Thank you so much, Michael. Let's bring on Flint Jameson. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, good to see a lot of familiar faces. Congrats, Yonah. This is awesome. Look, I'll keep this short. I went from aerospace to real estate, and I help tech and engineering professionals passively invest in commercial real estate. And one thing I want to give, I love all the mindset stuff out there and driving goals. I'm going to try to take this a little bit different direction. So a lot of people in general, investors in general, get stuck in this analysis paralysis or inaction because we are just inundated with information. So there's 2 books by Morgan Housel. Just go look up Morgan Housel. He kind of grounds us a little bit and looking at data and how to view the world and investing in general. And some of the interesting things that come out of this is research has shown how awful experts are at predicting politics and the economy. And with that knowledge, just knowing that, we need to invest in preparedness, not necessarily in prediction. So
wow,
the fact that we all strive so hard to try to predict everything in the future based on this and that, and recession being mentioned here and inflation there, and it's just, we don't really know what the future is going to bring us. So really, we need to take actions on the data that we have today. And is it going to be a solid investment today? If it is, it might survive the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Flint, for dropping so much wisdom. That's in a very short period of time. So we're going to bring up our next guest here, make us want to learn more. That's Jeff Hawk. Welcome to the show. We want to learn drop some wisdom, maybe a joke, maybe, I don't know, something.
Okay, so I'll do some storytelling. I'm Jeff Hawk. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at eProperty Care. I met Yonah in 2020 when he first offered, let me help a group of strangers optimize their LinkedIn profile. Then it evolved to, I'm going to start doing a weekly meetup so that people could learn and have something to do during COVID era. During that meetup, he's like, hey, I think I'm going to hatch a podcast. And he's like, hey, I have an idea. I think I might call it Weiss Advice. What do you guys think? I'm like, I think it's pretty good. Hey, I have a logo for the show. Which one do you think? Blue or white or blue? And I was on probably every single one of those meetups for, I want to say 2 years straight. In 2021, I was lucky enough to meet a fellow that was presenting about smart property technology. And I was really interested in it. And lo and behold, a couple of days after that appearance that they made on the podcast, they reached out to me and they said, hey, do you want to join our company? And I was like, yeah, I think I do. And that's a company I've been part of now for 3 years. We've grown tremendously. We do technology for multifamily and student housing. It's been a great run. I have so many friends on this screen here. It's amazing. People that I met through Yonah. I've been on his show. I met in person, and he's a great friend. And I guess my advice, kind of where I began, is before you're interesting, be interested. Take interest in people, be a perpetual learner, ask a lot of questions. I think I've learned that from him. He's always asking the next thing, drilling down, asking more. I love him as a friend. I love him as a person, and mazel tov. Just keep doing you. I appreciate so very much everything you do for everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff. That's awesome. And I love the story that you met your partner on the meetup that we did. It's so rewarding to see so many real life connections happen and lives changed through that. And just reminded me of a really funny story that when I was, I once got, an advertisement in the mailbox for a true story from a house cleaner. And it said, if you are interesting, please call this number. So apparently they took your advice to be first, not interested, but be interesting. We're going to call up Mr. Hutch. Welcome to the show, another very common frequenter of our Real Estate Connections meetup. Welcome to the show, Hutch.
Thank you, Yonah, for having me, and thank you for bringing all these great people together. Amy Silva, I see you're still up. I still have you on my radar. We have to do something good together. Right? I love the energy that you push out on LinkedIn, and I like that you hold me accountable to ensure that I practice what I preach about inclusion. Right? That's important to me. I was raised by my mom, a single parent. You know what I mean? So that, the conversation we had on LinkedIn is pretty important to me. So there's a bunch of amazing people, but Yonah, really appreciate you, brother, for all the energy and good vibes, good vibration that you bring to this community, the real estate community, and all those folks on LinkedIn as well. It was great meeting you at Race Fest earlier this year. Sorry we didn't get too much time to talk, but it was really great to get to see you and embrace you in real life, man. So that was awesome. So my name is Shalon Hutchinson. I go by Hutch, the Marine Investor on LinkedIn. And what we do is very simple. I'm still active duty in the Marine Corps, and I've seen a lot of folks transition from the military. One of the biggest things they try to solve is the reduction in their pay between their military salary and their retirement income. And my goal is to ensure that they are educated early and they can start taking the necessary step to move their thrift savings plan over into a self-directed IRA so they can take control of their financial future. Additionally, help them to understand that when they move from the military and they go to a civilian contracting job and they have maximized their VA eligibility, that income that they make on their second job should go towards creating more passive income. So my goal is to educate our veterans. Right now, over 80% of our investors are military veterans in all branches of service, to include the Space Force. So quick nuggets that I want to share is that our world will change drastically whenever we improve our attitude towards that world. And the reason why that is important to me, in 2015, if you're familiar with the military, you understand that every single rank you get promoted to requires a different or a more improved version of yourself. And I was getting ready to transition between E7 and E8. And who I was could not get me to the next level. I needed to make a drastic change. I think everyone else around me needed to change. But what I realized is that when I changed, right, the things that I wanted to accomplish also improved, right? And I discovered this quote, and this is the quote that really transformed my life. It says, between stimulus and response, there's space. And in that space, we have the freedom to choose our response. In our response is where we find our happiness and our growth. And I've made that quote a part of my core, and my life has changed drastically since then. I became a better father, a better husband, a better Marine, a better son, a better brother. Holistically, that one quote has changed me drastically, knowing that I am in control of the way that I react to the life or decision that I've made.
Yeah, love that. Hutch, thank you so much for imparting that wisdom. And I believe you can find that in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People right there, that quote. A really, really powerful thing. We're going to bring on our next guest. Okay. Who are you? What do you do? And what's some advice you'd like to share with our listeners today? That's Reed Bennett.
Hey, Yonah.
Really happy to be on this with you. Congrats on 400. You've been the consummate connector since I've met you, and I met you via LinkedIn. You were the first to comment on a video I did called The Multifamily Matrix, I think in 2019, after I'd gotten back from a Massimo conference, where they said, you just have to get out there and do it. All you guys are going to sit there and try to be perfect before you put your videos out there, and you're never going to do it. So I put the video out, and you were the first to comment. I went into a car wash on a Saturday morning. It came out. There were already 827 people that had taken a look at it just because you'd made a comment on it. So I understood the power of LinkedIn and social media. And then through your CRE 10 days, gained thousands and thousands of real estate connections. And it's just been fantastic. And you came through Chicago one time, and I left a showing to come meet you at the conference that you were at. So it was fun. And then actually that was my first viral post on LinkedIn, was giving you a hug at the conference. So it's been fun to learn from you and to learn from everybody on the screen. I've been on a number of podcasts, and to get to 400, I've been on 30 or 40 myself, and I get bored listening to myself. So I can't even imagine what you go through with 400 guests. So thanks again for everything that you do. A couple words of advice. As Laura mentioned, the people that are sitting on social media, I call them $100,000 millionaires. They're constantly showing what they have. You just have to be yourself, put out great content. And then also keep in mind that people don't know what you know. We all assume that everybody in our business, I sell multifamily complexes around the Midwest and various other parts of the country. Most of my clients didn't even know what cap rates were, until I did a video on it. And there was one gentleman that just said, I had sold him 3 different apartment complexes, and he owned well over 3,000 units. And he said, I didn't even know what a cap rate was. All you brokers talk about cap rates, and I just care about the cash in my pocket. So it was interesting, just understanding that. And that's a good piece of advice to make sure that you're putting out the knowledge that you know. Don't sell people on LinkedIn. Don't sell people on social media. And I agree with Mark Jensen, this is the time to get into commercial real estate. For those of you that are in commercial real estate, you don't want to get in when deals are happening and people are so busy they can't meet with you and talk to you. This is the time to get in. This is the time to build your database. I see Bob Knackel on here building the map room. This is the time to do all this stuff that you don't have time to do when the market's hot. So get out there and be somebody.
Love it. Thank you so much, Reed. And we're going to bring up another New Yorker, Yosef Lee, in the house. Yosef, can you share with us who you are, what you do, and impart with us some wisdom?
Hi, Yonah. Good morning. Thank you very much for bringing me back, and congratulations for 400 episodes. That's an amazing achievement. And great seeing everyone. You guys are amazing investors. I've been hearing your stories and just inspiring me, every single one of you. And I see some of the familiar faces and whatnot. So I'd love to get on a call and network with you guys. My name is Yosef Lee from New York City. Still a full-time attorney. Hopefully soon I'll transit into a full-time real estate investing. Not sure when it's going to happen. Hopefully soon. I got joined into a multifamily game about 4 years ago. And I think that's around when I was invited to Yonah's podcast, because in 2021, I was doing challenging myself, pushing myself out of comfort zone challenge. That was for being a guest on a podcast. I was just focusing on getting on, being invited. And at the end, I counted, I was on like 40 plus podcasts as a guest on 2021. So my goal was being on 15 or 20. So I was happy that I surpassed, but that's a way to just push myself to the comfort zone. Every year has been a challenge for that. And this year's challenge was learning about AI, because it's just so powerful. And I think it's nothing to be afraid of, but to learn and tackle and make your ally to be more productive. So that's part of my challenge this year. One line of my tips, I was thinking about it as I was hearing all these amazing tips, and not to be overlapped with anything. My line of tip today is count the number of summers you have left with your kids. So that's a great line from one of my mentors. It's always been reminding me, count how many summers you have left with your kids. I have 2 daughters. One is becoming 12. The other one is becoming 14. And only 4 summers, right? If you really think about it, from 18, they're going to be like, oh, Dad, I'm just going to hang out with my friends. And so if I think about 4 summers left, then I could really focus on how am I going to spend that 4 years with her as an activity, as far as what activities and what educations I want her to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my line of tip. If you have already raised your kids above 18s, congrats. Maybe then you can replace that with your loved ones, or friends and family.
Love it. Thank you so much, Joseph. And thanks for the parenting advice. Very, very powerful indeed. And looks like Bob's got his phone working. We're going to head it back to Bob Knackle.
Yeah. Hey, Yonah, how are you? See, and the guy who has the AI real estate company can't unmute the phone. That's why I hire the right people to do all the technology stuff, because technology is not my friend. So firstly, Yonah, congratulations on this milestone. Fantastic. So happy for you. You always produce such great stuff, and I couldn't be happier that you've achieved this great milestone. I'm Bob Knackle. For those of you that don't know me, I've been an investment sales broker in New York City for 40 years. I think New York City is about to enter into the biggest sell-off in history. To read about it, to hear a video about it, go to bkrea.com, go to bobknackle.com, Knakal. It's all there. I don't want to take up a lot of time talking about that. What I'd like to do is share a joke with you guys. Break it up a little bit. Yonah, you have a great sense of humor, so hopefully you'll appreciate this. So 3 guys die, go to heaven. They're approaching the pearly gates. St. Peter's there, says, all right, guys, I'm going to ask you one question, and your answer to that question will determine the mode of transportation that you get for all of eternity to go around heaven. Okay, so the first guy approaches St. Peter. St. Peter says, okay, please tell me, how faithful were you to your wife? St. Peter, I was really great. I never cheated, never thought about it. I was a model husband. Said, okay, very good, very good. You see that green Cadillac over there? You get to drive that Cadillac around for all of eternity. Gets in the car, drives off. Next guy approaches St. Peter, same question, how faithful were you to your wife? And the guy says, well, there was this one time I was in Las Vegas, and but it was just that one time. I actually was really good, it was just that one slip up. And he says, well, that's unfortunate. You see that beat up Volkswagen over there? You get to drive that beat up Volkswagen around heaven for all of eternity. Third guy approaches St. Peter. St. Peter asks the same question. And he says, St. Peter, I'm so ashamed. I had this few times that I strayed. And then there was another time, and I was in Vegas, and another time this happened. And so it really wasn't that great. St. Peter's shaking his head. He says, look, I'm really sorry to do this to you, but you see that beat up bicycle over there? You have to drive this bicycle around heaven for all of eternity. The guy gets on the bicycle and he's pedaling down the street, and he sees the guy who had the green Cadillac, and the green Cadillac is pulled over on the side of the road, and he's sprawled out on the hood of the Cadillac, and he's pounding his fist into the hood of the car, crying. And so the guy on the bicycle stops and he says, hey, pal, what could possibly be so wrong? You got this beautiful green Cadillac to drive around for all of eternity, and I'm stuck on this rusty old bicycle. And the guy pulls himself up from the hood and he says, I just saw my wife go by on roller skates.
Oh,
a little levity.
Oh, Bob, appreciate you. Thanks so much for joining the show and imparting that. So, laughter, definitely the best medicine. Great to have you. We'll go to Linda Lim. Linda, tell us who you are, what you do, and share with us some wisdom.
Hi, Yonah. Congratulations on the 400. Wow. I think it's one of the Dan or somebody early on that met you in Israel. I met you in Israel, right? I was in Western Wall, and you're so down to earth. And I'm a fan of your podcast. And I told you I always listen to the new podcast, the new speaker. So you guys' faces is actually familiar, even though you don't know me. Right? My background, I'm from Wall Street first. So I'm coming from Wall Street with like 763, with Charles Schwab, Goldman Sachs. That's how I grew up. So I grew up in finance and everything prior to moving to real estate. I left Wall Street completely just because of it's just not aligned anymore after you see everything else, different asset class and stuff like that. It's just not, you want to take control of your future. And through Wall Street, sometimes you just can't. You depend on a lot of dumb people, to run your investment, basically, right? So long story short, because of my background, I believe in diversification. I diversify my investment portfolio. So real estate is one great tool, but we have to think about other assets too that be able to complement, the long term and the short term so that people can live really passively with that has to be active. Right now, most of us is still active. Just to be honest, we're preaching about passive investing, but we sometimes don't walk the talk, right? We very active still. We managing fund, including me. So my goal is to go passive 100% while still focusing on creating passive income for my investors. Not only creating a fund manager and stuff like that, but heavily in real estate. But I also have different kind of other businesses like transportation and things like that who has very high cash flow and combined with the long-term investment. Nuggets. I think after being in finance for over 30 years, my lesson learned is like every day is the right timing. There's no perfect, I'll just wait up to right now is the right time to buy real estate. Every day it is, it's when the good deal come. And I am a firm believer that bad deal can be good and good deal can be bad. It really depends on the jockey, on us who's running it, right? So that was my lesson learned, been in investment for a while. And thank you, Yonah, for having me. And I'm glad to see everybody.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate you joining us on the show. We're going to bring up Nick Strommel next. Tell us who you are, what you do, and a little advice for us.
Hey, great to be with you guys. I have a little special treat for Yonah. Maybe you guys saw it pop up before. Check out my background. Yonah, little acrostic. Yo, what's up? Others focused. Yonah is no nonsense. He's articulate and astute. How are you? This just, in my opinion, is who you are. You're so others focused, Yonah, and I just love, everyone talks about you being a giver, but it just is who you are. It's deep in your core, and it's just beautiful, and I just thank you for that. So I had the gift of being able to partner with Yonah on a couple of his challenges, just helping run his operations. And one of my kind of modes of advice would be, in order to become the person you want to become, you have to take risks to get there. We live in a world that just wants to play it safe, be secure. But on the other side of that risk or challenge is the growth and the person you want to become. So I was kind of scared to reach out to Yonah. Hey, Yonah, would you need some help running your challenge? And yet we had a great conversation, and it's turned into a great partnership. So I'm Nick. I help run Oak and Vine Capital up here in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. And I just love helping people multiply their money so that they can multiply their impact, investing in alternative assets like real estate and energy. And I would say what really gets me excited, my passion, is to help people become more generous. I think real estate in general has an incredible opportunity to produce resources. And what if there was more people setting their financial freedom number and then 10xing it so that they could live on 10% and give the rest away? So that's kind of what I do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love that. Love what you do there, and appreciate you, Nick, for everything that you've done. Donna Reed, why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, and share with us a little golden nugget of wisdom.
Hi, Yonah. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here amongst everyone. And congratulations again. Oh, wow. 40 episode of podcast is nothing light to sniff at, I should say. But I'm really excited, and I'm really glad to be here again. My name is Donna Reed. I'm the CEO of Reed Elite Capital. And what I do is just help high income earners build their portfolio so that they could have a more financial freedom life and not so bunked down with tasks that they have to do when it comes to running their business. So that's one of the things that I do. I love putting people together and networking with them. But one of my advice that I would give, and I think my mom said it many years ago, I think it was more like, honey, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. All right. Maybe that was my daughter that said that to me. Ma, it's what you say, is how you say it to me. And I think that one, I'm going to sway into more of building my relationships with people, is that I have to make sure how I come off to them. Am I approachable? How am I going to help them? First, it's when I come away from thinking, it's not about me and what I'm going to do for them, but it's more about how are they going to be able to interact with me? Can I make it that they would be able to approach me? So I have to come off not arrogant or not sound like I know it all, but it's how I'm saying it to someone else so that I could build that relationship and know that person. I remember taking my first trip to India. I was in a class learning or getting into the goal of international real estate. And I remember someone came to me and said, "Oh, Donna, we're doing a trip to India." And I was like, I can't go. I'm going to London. There's no way I could still go to India, just drop everything and go. And I was so glad I did do that. I didn't even think about it. I just said yes. And in that, it built such a relationship that I still have over 10 years now. I still have a relationship with the people because I see them now and then when we do meet up. But could you imagine if I said something that was maybe inappropriate or thinking, well, I have this, I don't need that, or I'm all that, I don't need to be a part of that group. It was such a good thing that I did because those are my true friend and the relationships that I built with those people are phenomenal. So thank you again. And I really appreciate being amongst all you guys.
Thank you, Donna. Awesome to have you on the show. And let's bring up Jason Millara. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on your show. It was truly an honor to be invited. Your podcast is honestly one of my favorites to listen to. So I was pretty excited to be on, pretty excited to be here today. My name is Jason Millara. I'm the CEO of Lark Capital. I think everybody here is mainly real estate related. I guess my unique piece is I'm also a veterinary surgeon. So I'll throw that out there. I'm not sure that anybody else on here is in that world. My piece of advice, I guess I'll keep it on brand to my own podcast, which, Yonah, thanks for being an inspiration. I'll be chasing in your tails, trying to get to that 400. But my piece of advice to people is to know your why. And it's been a motivator for me. And that's why my podcast is named. That's been a big motivator, both in good times and bad. I think when things are going well, you can use that to kind of push and really go after it. And then when things aren't going as well, which I'm sure some of us have experienced over the last 18, 24 months, then it lets you know, kind of what's there for you, what gets you through those hard days. So yeah. I think it's an important thing to learn about yourself and kind of use that power to move you through your business and your investments and just life in general. Awesome. But thank you again, Yonah. I really do appreciate being here.
Love it. Thank you so much, Jason, for joining. Vessi Kapulian, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and some wisdom for our listeners.
Thank you, Yonah. And first of all, congratulations. 400 is a big number and really blessed and honored to be in the Hall of Fame with all the wonderful guests here. It feels like a mini reunion. So really, really appreciate you organizing that and creating such a great community, bringing us together, whether it's through the podcast, the meetup, the LinkedIn challenges. I really, really appreciate that. But yes, I'm Vessi Kapulian, an immigrant who's blessed and privileged to live the American dream, a former commercial lender turned real estate investor. I run a real estate investment firm, Dream, Believe, Achieve Capital Group, where I build strategic relationships with operators in markets with strong fundamentals. And when they have an investment offering, I share that with members of my community who like to benefit from investing in real estate, but don't have the time or desire to do so. And I also help beginner multifamily investors learn the art and science of underwriting multifamily properties. But words of wisdom, the one word that really comes to mind is resilience and never giving up. Whether you're starting a new venture or maybe transitioning into a new role or scaling up, it's about not giving up. This business is not an easy one, and if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But it's keeping our why in mind and keeping going, not giving up, focusing on the process and those daily consistent and persistent steps. One more step, one more day. Just keep going and don't give up. And before you know it, you will be on the path to making those dreams real.
Love it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Vessi, for joining us. Rebecca Taylor, Tailored Investments. Welcome.
Hey, good to see you all. This is an amazing event. There's a lot of awesome, everybody on this in this meeting has got some incredible advice and experience. And so thank you, Yonah, for putting this together. And for 400 episodes, congratulations. I echo what everyone has said. I remember, I think it was last year when we chatted on the podcast that we both shared the priority of having a Sabbath every week. And that is something that I think is so valuable. And it was cool to get to talk to you about that last year. And then I still wear your Weiss Advice socks that you gave me at a conference. I forget, I don't even know which conference it was, but it was such a fun little token to take away from that event. And I think of you often when I wear those. So thank you for those socks. But I'm Rebecca Taylor from Tailored Investments. We are based out of Lynchburg, Virginia, and we do the heavy lifting and bring high quality real estate investments to busy professionals. And we're focused on helping them find more balance in their life, buy back their time, and live more life with the people they love. And so we've been investing in real estate since 2012, and we've had a lot of experience being hands-on landlords with properties here locally, and then got into this space with passive investments back in 2021. And we're focused on buying in different markets where it really makes sense. We just closed on a property here in Lynchburg last month, the 100-unit property we're really excited about. And so my bit of advice would be make your priorities now, make them and live by them. Don't wait until you have all the money or all the time someday. Once things slow down, you have to decide on your priorities now, because there will never be a perfect time to spend more time with your kids. There's never going to be a perfect time to go work out. You know, there's so many things in life that we have to prioritize, and you have to decide for yourself what are your priorities and then stick with them. Because again, if you have all the money in the world and you're doing fantastic in that area, but everything else is suffering, it's not going to be worth it, and you're not going to be happy. And so I think I'm realizing that more and more. We have 3 young kids. We just got back from a 5-week road trip around the country, spent time in Ohio and Montana and Alaska and a bunch of states in between, saw some baseball games and hiked. And it was really fun. We did some work from the road, visited some properties, but it was just a once in a lifetime opportunity that we were able to take advantage of, and we're able to enjoy that. And a lot of that's due to real estate and those decisions we made early on. But I think just finding your priorities and finding balance in your life so that you're happy and healthy. Your health is a top priority, whether it be physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. There's so many areas of your life that you need to make sure that you're giving attention to and prioritizing. So yeah, thanks again, Yonah. It's good to be here.
Love it. That's such incredible advice, and congratulations on your success and on the trip. That's so much fun. And by the way, it shouldn't be a once in a lifetime. You should do
That's
it
true.
as often as you can.
Exactly. And that's something we realized after this is we want this to become every summer as our kids are out of school. I think it was, I wrote it down. Yosef mentioned 18 summers with our kids. Like, oh my gosh, it flies by so fast. So we have to make time. We have to choose to be with them, spend the time. We don't have to be 20 millionaire, have all the money in the world if you don't have those relationships with the people you love the most. So make the time.
Awesome. Love it. And looks like we're winding down, but last and certainly not least, Esther, the investor, is on the show, and grateful to have you, a good friend and a great supporter. So thank you and welcome. Share with us some wisdom.
Thank you so much. Congrats on 400. That's huge. Thank you so much to Yonah. Yonah spring-headed me into the whole industry, connecting me with people initially. I didn't start a podcast right away, but I would write articles for a magazine, and Yonah helped me get some of those connections, and it's been an amazing ride since. Yes, we became good friends. Yonah's been over some time, and it's been really nice. My piece of advice, actually, right now, I know it's a little controversial, but is not to give advice. Just take action. That's my and I mean, I'm not telling everyone what to do. I'm telling you what I'm doing is that I like to take action. I'm done giving advice. I'm just an action taker, and as much as possible, whether it's just getting up and exercising or just taking care of the kids or just doing stuff. Let's say the real estate's a little slow right now. I had like 7 deals fall through in the last few months. It's been tough. So I pivoted. I got into brokering some businesses too. I got into investing in some businesses. So that's what I'm doing. That I could tell you. That's without giving advice. It's letting everyone know what I'm doing. I'm giving myself advice, and that's it. I could only control myself. Yeah, life is interesting. I'm very tired right now, so if I'm rambling, excuse me. My daughter had a long cast up to her arm that totally slipped off. Go figure how. So we were dealing with that last night, and we just came back from the doctor to replace a cast, which is really interesting. Anyways, wishing you all a wonderful, healthy, amazing summer. And, I'm just taking action one step at a time.
Love it. And that itself is great advice. So, you live by your words, and taking action in of itself is great advice in itself. Well, this has been amazing. I'm so grateful to all of you who stuck around to the end, and for everyone who has been listening to this. And I hope you guys got a tremendous amount of wisdom from this, just looking around and seeing all you guys and gals who have joined us throughout the years and coming back to show your support. I appreciate all of you, and hopefully we can do this again on episode maybe 500 or maybe before. and to
okay,
all
one thing.
Go for it.
Okay. So if you go back and listen to my podcast with Yonah, go listen to it and listen carefully, and then follow me on Twitter because I've taken action. I'm not going to say what it is, and I'm going to be announcing it soon. So practicing what I preach. So yeah, so go follow me on Twitter and listen to the podcast again.
Okay. Well, everyone should go and do that.
Yonah, I was doing some test marketing on the side chat here. There's an audience for YonahCon 2024. Bring us together in New York. You'll get an audience.
Okay, maybe two.
Anyway, city if you're choosing.
Okay, sounds good. YonahCon. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us to the end once again. And just like to close it out, like I close out every podcast. Remember, the best advice comes only when you ask. And I asked my friends, and they showed up. And I'm grateful for all you all. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Real quick, I have one question for you. Did you like this episode? If you did, I want to ask you a huge favor. See, the biggest thing that helps this podcast grow and that will spread this message to the whole world is that if you leave a review, a rating, and subscribe to the podcast. What that does is it basically tells the platforms that this podcast is out on is that you like my stuff and I'm doing something right. So take a few seconds out of your day, hit that subscribe button, leave a rating or review. I would be extremely grateful. Also, I want to hear from you guys. So I want to hear some feedback. If you have any questions for future episodes, please find me on LinkedIn. Send me a DM, a connection request, Yonah Weiss, and I'd love to hear from you.